as well. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Warm welcome to another session from CXO Junction. Most of you must be thinking that, how and why we came up with this CXO Junction as a brand from CyberFred. So you all know about CyberFred, but with CXO Junction, we are trying to meet the niche, or I'll say the industry leaders and the subject matter experts to come up and discuss upon a challenge, which we can actually, with the help of our partners, get to the understanding that how we can resolve those challenges. So in today's session, we are going to talk about journey of extended detection and response, breaking down the siloed detection. So what we have observed in last couple of years that with emerging technologies, the threat prevention and detection access control has not just limited to endpoints, but it has gone beyond the IoTs, network and cloud apps, and many enterprises are seeing this as a extended detection and response capabilities should be introduced. But most of us have a issue or a challenge that how to implement that. What all the consideration we need to have. Do we need to go beyond our SOC and get this new solution, or do we actually need? And if that, what are the headaches? What are the migration problems? And those of a lot of things which we have. So to do that discussion, we have the esteemed panelists with us from the industry, as well as to have this answered. We have experts, and this today's session we have our partner McAfee. So McAfee is a enterprise, is a pure play enterprise cybersecurity company positioned to solve enterprise customers changing security need with a world-class solution leading portfolio. McAfee Enterprise deliver on the need of modern businesses, organization, and government around the world. Okay, so in association with Inspira Enterprise, which we are doing this session today. So Inspira Enterprise is a leading digital transformation enterprise that combines, I think someone need to go on mute. Yeah, thank you. Enterprise that combines bold thinking, path-breaking technology, and years of expertise to transform business and organization around the world. They are headquartered in Mumbai, and Inspira has satellite office pan India, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, UAE, Africa, and US with a team of over 700 professionals. So from Inspira team, we have joining in Om Hoja, CISO and CTO, Inspira Enterprise India Limited, as well as Gaurav Deshpande. He is a VP International Business Inspira Enterprise India Limited. Along with him from McAfee, we have expert Arvind Sharma. He is Enterprise Technology Specialist for Device Security APAC at McAfee. And we have our panelists from the industry who are actually going to put the challenges to us, that what they are expecting from XDR and how they are want to solve those challenges. So Amit Malhotra, Executive Director Cyber Icertis. We have Devender Kumar, he is a CISO ITC Infotech. We have Kalpesh Joshi with us, he's a CISO FIS, and Kshitij Bhatia, he is the Digital Cybersecurity Specialist, Sanofi. So to take the discussion forward, I will like to invite Gaurav Deshpande. So just to introduce him, Gaurav Deshpande has worked across India, Middle East, Europe in the past with the organization like GE, IBM, EY, KPMG, and Tata Communication. With his technical background and certification like CSSP, he has a keen interest in the new technologies. So Gaurav, over to you to set the context and take this discussion forward.
Sure. Thanks a lot for this, this Gaurav. Thanks a lot for setting up this conversation. Thanks a lot to you and your team for bringing this panel together. I think it's an important conversation, and the way we are looking at technology these days, the most prime importance is given to managing threats. And when it comes to managing threats, detection and response becomes the key thing. How do we ensure that we reduce the time to detect a threat, and how do we ensure that we reduce the time to respond to a threat? I think these two parameters become really important, and that's the reason this conversation of extended detection and response becomes all the more important. We have seen how this complete journey has evolved with endpoint security, with endpoint detect and respond, with managed detect and respond, and now with the complete extended detect and respond story. So I would want to open up the conversation by going around the room with all the panelists that we have for this conversation. I would want to probably just give them some time to just briefly introduce themselves. What are they doing with their organization? And then I would want to understand from them on what their expectation is from XDR as a solution. I think that would be a good starting point, and we can then dive deeper into the conversation. What I also understand for the rest of the audience is that towards the end of the conversation, we are going to leave about 10 to 15 minutes to take questions from the audience. Okay, so if you have any questions, if you want to make any comments on some points that are discussed to add value to the conversation, please note it down. Please put it in the chat box so that we can take it towards the last 10 to 15 minutes of this conversation. So with that, I would want to go around the room. Okay, I see Arvind face the first in this grid that I see around. So Arvind, do you want to take a stab at it? Just introduce yourself and then let us know about what your expectations are from XDR as a solution.
Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks for setting up this panel discussion. I'm really looking forward to sharing ideas around XDR. So I understand XDR is basically a journey, right? So it's not a product. It's not a one solution that we buy and now we've got XDR. XDR is more of a journey based on what are the business outcomes that you are expecting. Now, when we are looking at XDR, I'm sorry, you asked me to introduce myself first, so let me do that. Sorry about that. So, okay, so my name is Arvind Sharma, and I am the Advanced Technology Specialist for the Device Security Solutions in McAfee. So McAfee has a lot of focused solutions like device security, which is endpoint protection, EDR, XDR, and so on. We similarly have a cloud security, data protection solutions as well. So I cater to the device security portfolio for APAC. Sorry about that. So yeah, so coming back to my expectations on XDR, and the discussion from today is just to get ideas around what is the journey, what is the experience around this XDR that everybody has, how do we feel that, are we ready for the journey? Where are we from a maturity perspective? Because we've already done, a lot of our customers have already done a lot of investments from point solution perspective. So what is the architecture that they're looking at? Are they looking at Gartner from a reference architecture, or ESG from a reference architecture, or some other reference architecture? What is the reference architecture that they're looking at, and what are the business outcomes of this project, the XDR project that they have? So I'm very keen to understand and learn from everybody's experience and their own learning of XDR. I understand there are too many definitions right now floating around XDR in the market. So I'm keen to have this discussion today with the panel.
Sure. Thanks a lot for that, Arvind. Devinder, do you want to go in next and have a stab at it?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Gaurav. Hi, I'm Devinder. I'm working with ITC Infotech as the Chief Information Security Officer. I have over 25 years of experience in the area of information security and cybersecurity, and it's a pleasure to be part of this esteemed panel. Yeah, coming to Gaurav, your question on the expectations as a end user organization which uses many security products, my expectation first of all will be that many of these XDR products, they require customers to purchase a lot of control sensors, etc. So I will be looking for what my expectation will be. How do I make use of the existing investments so that I'm not asked to replace my existing investment? That's one thing which I'll be looking for in any XDR solution. I think the other expectation, which I guess everybody will have, is that nobody wants to write too many of these codes, rules in their existing SIEM and SOAR platforms. A lot of engineering effort goes in it. And I will be looking for a solution wherein all of these things are available out of box so that there is a lesser engineering effort. And as you know, it's not easy to hire and retain security skills. And how do I manage this solution with far lower skills, or how do I make best use of my existing manpower so that it doesn't consume too much of manpower in writing codes and writing rules and writing all the custom rules and content? That will be my expectation. Thank you.
Sure. I think that's a good cue. Om, do you want to go in next? Just quickly introduce yourself and let us know about your expectations of the solution.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav. Hi, everybody. So I have been part of Inspira since last 8 years. I would say been the founding member for the security services business for Inspira. And before that, I was heading the offering services for IBM. Overall, 22 plus years of experience on information security. My expectation is to understand from my fellow participants on broadly how what is their vision in terms of overall detection and response scenario, how an XDR may support on the technology aspects, and also see and discuss some of their expectations on workflows and processes to be part of the current, as we look forward the whole towards the XDR journey. So it would be great to understand and share some of these views. So that is my overall expectations.
Thanks, Om. Kshitij, do you want to go in next? And I'll then go to Amit, followed by Kalpesh.
Sure, definitely, Gaurav. Hi all, this is Kshitij Bhatia, and I'm working with Sanofi as a regional cybersecurity manager for APAC. And when I talk about Sanofi, we are more known by our brands like Combitem, Soframycin, and so on. And we are into pharma manufacturing and healthcare. Talking about my expectation from this panel discussion is more about OT security, because my main focus is on OT when I talk about manufacturing unit. So we see a lot of automation happening in and around BFSI sector and different sector. But when we talk about digital factory or when we talk about industrial revolution, there's a lot more to be achieved and a lot more to be done from that perspective, right? So that's what my expectations are from this panel discussion.
Sure. Thanks, Kshitij. We are looking out for that interesting conversation around OT for sure. Amit, do you want to go in next?
Thanks, Gaurav. This is Amit Malhotra. I work for a company called as iCertis. iCertis is into contract lifecycle management, and I have around 20 plus years of experience managing information security at an enterprise level. From the XDR perspective, we understand the concept that yes, it is basically a consolidation of security signals from different sources and federating them and performing high-level behavioral analysis, doing cross correlation as well as providing highly automated response. It's just that what I would like to know better is that does it replace our security operations center services? Does it replace managed detection response related services, right? Because there is still a confusion. What is XDR? Is XDR EDR plus some additional capabilities? Is it EDR plus NDR, which is network detection and response? Or is it SIM plus additional capabilities? So I do not know where we are at a journey related to the evolution of XDR, right? These are very good concepts, right? But is it going to be replacing security operations center as a service completely? I guess the answer is no. But if yes, to what extent? Yes. And yeah, basically would like to understand, my expectation would be to understand where we are at, on a journey related to XDR evolvement.
Sure. Thanks for that, Amit. Kalpesh, do you want to go in?
Sure, I can go next. So I have 20 plus years of experience. I've been working with Affias as the CISO for India, managing all the entities in India. And Affias is a fintech to provide banking and financial solutions to, I would say, financial institutions across the world. I think, the allied, kind of panelists have already covered all the points. So that kind of makes my job easy and difficult. Easy because I can repeat whatever they said, right? Difficult because if I have to say something new, I really have to train my brain on that. But I think let me kind of just give my perspective, and that's purely from 2 decades of experience. We've seen a lot of tools which come into play, right? XDR promises a lot of things because it promises to remove the silos, and every CISO would kind of agree that yes, the silos that we are creating to protect our assets, we're always creating challenges, right? XDR gives us a way forward. I think somebody beautifully said, it's a journey, it's not a tool, right? But it defines a path, it defines, a way forward. And it just tells you that if you walk on the path, maybe at some time you'll reach your destination. It never promises your destination. I think the fact that it's brutally honest about what it can achieve itself goes on to say that it's not one of the hypes created by the market. It will be a realistic approach, right? And I'd be more interested in knowing more about its capabilities, knowing more about how it intends to remove the silos, and what are the ways and means on the challenges that we are facing as a CISO. How could it be addressed? Because we know that we are facing a lot of alert fatigues, right? We're facing integration challenges, right? Even today, when you talk about correlation, it's not something that happens out of box, right? A lot of efforts go, a lot of things do work, a lot of things don't work even today, right? And the proof of the fact is the attacks are getting more sophisticated. Your traditional tools are not being able to identify them at all. So how could XDR really help us in the new world deal with the sophistication that we're seeing in the attacks? I think that would be an interesting point to see from my point of view. But before I end, I think it's been a great privilege to be part of this the panel, and thanks for inviting me to this forum.
Thanks, Kalpesh. I think taking a cue from the way we opened up the conversation, okay, Arvind mentioned it is not a solution, it is a journey. Okay, Amit mentioned what is it? I mean, is it going to replace a SOC? Is it EDR plus? Is it MDR plus? Okay, if it replaces a SOC, how is it going to work? Okay, and as you also mentioned, Kalpesh, how is it going to change things for us? Okay, how is it going to break down the silos? Okay, so with that, I would want to go to Devinder. Okay, and I would want to probably know from you what, according to you, is the X factor that you're looking at from XDR as a solution. Okay, because I think that would be really important, and it can open up this conversation, and we can then try to stitch things together and see how the conversation progresses from there. So Devinder, what according to you is the X factor that XDR brings onto the table?
So thanks. So Gaurav, when it comes to the X factor, I think the first thing is it goes beyond EDR. EDR's focus, as we know, is more on the endpoint. So it goes beyond the endpoints. It covers the serverless infra on the cloud. It covers the containers. It covers the network. So, and of course, to some extent, IoT as well. So first of all, yeah, it goes beyond what typically is done by an EDR. And then I guess the next thing is the its ability to, just as an example, let's say if there is an email-based attack which comes, typically EDR cannot look at that email unless and until somebody clicks on a link, somebody opens an attachment. EDR cannot play a role. Whereas in case of XDR will have that visibility as well. So that's, I think, makes it very, very valuable. And a couple of other things, like I said, the lesser overhead, lesser engineering effort, and its ability to go live quickly with lesser effort. I think these are some of the things which make it, which I would call it is the X factor in XDR, the extended visibility, the quicker response, and the context it provides, the context rich alerts or the indicators of compromise which it can provide. I think that's what makes it different.
Sure, thanks a lot for that, Devinder. Arvind, I would want to go to you. Okay, and since you come from this domain, I would want to understand on what, according to you, are the X factors. Okay, I'm sure there's not one single X factor, because we are not talking about a product, we're talking about a domain. Okay, so please let us hear from you.
I'll probably take one of the comment that probably Amit mentioned was whether it's EDR plus or is it like an SIM plus, right? So the answer to it is journey. Now, where do we start our journey from? The journey could start from EDR. The journey could start from an SIM, and we've got two set of vendors going on in the market, right? Hence the various definitions. Now, why do we have a set of vendors who are SIM plus? Why? Because XDR finally lands in the SecOps part, right? It's a SecOps solution. Finally, the whole operations will run over that. And today, a lot of customers are running their operation using SIM. So now when we look at the maturity curve, the next step naturally, which a lot of our security operation team thinks, is that we need to add something on the SIM. The second set of vendors are where the EDR++, right? And why is that? Because again, if you look at Gartners and ESGs and many other security analysts, now they mentioned that the primary source of alerts that are reaching the SecOps are predominantly endpoint. Like ESG came out with a report last year saying that 50% of alerts which are reaching the SecOps team are basically endpoint. So now if we have to start, and guess what? Most of the remediation actions are taken on endpoint. We don't change a firewall rule or IPS rule or some other rule just on remediation. Remediation predominantly happens on the endpoint. Now, if that is the trajectory, then we go ahead with the vendors who are EDR++. So basically, it's a journey. Where do we start from? So for different customers, the X factor would depend on where the journey is starting from. Do they want to integrate something in their SIM, say over an API, and go through that journey? Do they want to start with an EDR solution where they're already taking the remediation action and now they want to add more context to that journey, right? So it depends on where the various customers are and where they want to start their journey from. Both journeys are fair. I'm not saying that either one is good or bad. And probably let me add another context. Why did these two set of vendors come in the market? Because when we look at Gartner and ESG basically came up with a SOAP architecture, and Gartner came with the SOAR++, which was an insight on the XDR. They basically had two layers. The first layer was a sensor layer where they're getting all the telemetry, and second layer is the analytical layer. And now analytical layer is where we normally see the SIM solutions playing in. And sensors is where the vendors like McAfee play in, right? We got endpoint, we got IPS, we've got cloud security and all that. We play in the sensor part of it. So it depends on where the investment is done already and where do you want to start from. There is where the X part of the XDR would come in.
Okay, thanks for that, Arvind. And I like the way you put it that it is more of a SecOps kind of a solution or a journey. Okay, with that, Om, I would want to come to you. Okay, since you're managing multiple customers from your security operations center, and you have built various security operations centers, you've been in the offerings domain also. So based on whatever you have been observing, how does the SOC change once an XDR solution comes into picture? And I would want to hear two angles to it. Okay, I would want to understand the perspective of a service provider, and I would also want to understand the perspective of a customer. Okay, because you will have few on-premise solutions also. So I would want to understand these two perspectives from you, please.
Thanks, Gaurav. And I would like to take it, where Arvind left the definition of where the XDR journey starts in, right? If you have the analytical engine or the sensor engine. So anyways, when we look at the overall SecOps overlay on any of these engines, you also look at the three aspects, what is the quality of analytics would flow in, what is the depth, and how will it help me to define my actions. Now, the quality of depth or the analytics capability of the sensors would be built in. You have the whole ecosystem where you have invested and then you are taking the extended journey. So here the differentiation works in where the whole ecosystem of the analytics is enabled by AI and ML. So you would have the artificial intelligence and machine learning available for the platform to consume, to analyze, and help a better decision-making capability for the analyst to come in, faster time to arrive at the analysis, to validate the analysis, because the analysis most of the times is available from the platform itself. Second piece where it really helps is to define and structure the workflow. So for many of the things, there are automated responses. So those things are automated in real time and can then be taken care of. That is where the extended or the connected part comes in. Whereas in managed detection and response, you need to create those connectors and then validate with individual teams to look into. And the third piece, which is very critical, is in terms of the ability to get deeper insights, get more control to ensure that you have the prioritized detections coming into place. You would effectively spend more time to understand why a particular problem or alert cropped up, what kind of evidences are there, because there are if you leave the cyber side of it, where you have the automation available to kill the attack, you also have a structured workflow where certain kind of implications would warrant either analysis by a legal team, the risk team, or a compliance team to understand the impact and then take it forward for a further reporting to the compliance agencies, whatever compliance agencies in a particular industry would report into. For example, I heard Kshitij, more interested though on the OTPs coming in. Now with the OTPs, you have the analytics based on the sensors coming in, but I will not be brave enough to do automated remediation. I don't know, what impact it will create on the implications. But then an informed insight proactively for an OT infrastructure is to give insights which would have missed the radar, and then a suitable action can be warranted. Similarly, we have Kalpesh, who works with different financial institutions and banks to drive and monitor some of their financial services they look into. So based on the geographies in which they're catering to, what financial institutions, what categories they target into, he would have a structured workflow in terms of understanding and communicating and helping various customers with structured artifacts for them to decide and carry on for that compliance. So some of these things in terms of how you collectively work and automate that part of this. So in this whole process, you understand that I have a SOC analyst who works on a particular event. Once this event is there, once you have created and given your analysis onto the workflow, you can move on to the next event. Otherwise, as per the earlier scenario, the analyst who's been working would also have to sit down and work with the individual teams to explain them why these artifacts are important, what implications technically indicators they are showing, and explain that to the piece. So in an XDR ecosystem, this focus of the analyst is not lost, whereas the down the line, the different teams, the people who are supposed to take decisions have more enriched data coming in on their end to take effective decisions. So I think this is where the SecOps piece gets enriched and helps different functions to operate things as the volume of data grows. As Devendra mentioned, that you have the platform, you have cloud, you have multiple pieces of communication happening, and there's a tons of data. So you would have a proper segregation and enrichment for the analysis to be carried forward.
Thanks, Om. I think you touched upon a lot of important topics. Okay, and I would want to have some time spent on the automation of XDR in the manufacturing sector. That is something that we would want to hear from Kshitij. Okay, but before I do that, I would want to go to Kalpesh and then to Amit. I would want to understand from you as Kalpesh, as a CISO. Okay, you have a SOC that is there for your internal consumption for your organization. So how does XDR change things for you in the SOC?
Okay, I think Gaurav, I think you covered it well, that nothing is going to change drastically. It's about enhancing the value, right? I think it's more about bringing more insights into your information so that you're able to take actionable actions on, you can take actions based on actionable intelligence, right? So from that perspective, I do believe that when you talk about network protection tools or network protection methods, it's been there since early to year like 2000, right? It's been evolving over a period of time, right? The focus over here is they've been talking about aggregating. It's about aggregation of all the logs. It's about being able to use. When you talk about data lake, right? Devendra mentioned that beautifully well. The need of the day is, we don't want to have too many efforts to do coding to get meaning out of your data, right? So use, a low source code programming so that the data lake that you're going to create is of a valuable data, right? And you're able to use it seamlessly well. I think as a CISO, it's going to be difficult because we have sold so many tools saying that this is the cutting edge technology and there is nothing beyond this, right? Even when the SOAR came, they said that is it. This replaces them and you're going to get all the visibility. The attackers are going to be found out, no matter where they are. Even if they're hiding somewhere, we're going to find it out. Within few years, we realized that's not the case. So I think from an XDR perspective, the importance would be in terms of how are we going to leverage on the data, because we have to agree one thing, that even today, it's not the SIMs have a limitation in terms of what it can really collect as logs. The limitation is more in terms of processing that logs, right? And XDR would have to play that dominant role on how can it filter the noise in that, in the logs today, right? How could it then apply advanced algorithms to say that these are the noises, so eliminate the false positives, give a clean view of actual threats, right, which matters, right? And I think, yes, it works effectively when today we all have complex implementations. Days are gone when it could just depend on one layer of protection. Today, you again, I heard it from the panel. Threats would be on the mails. You could have your servers, applications on your clouds. Your networks could be vulnerable. You could have your own third-party partners. So many layers. And then how do you correlate your logs, your events across all those layers and come out with something which is sensible, actionable, right? And something that CISOs can really take actions on. I think that would be a fair expectation of any XDR platform.
Sure, thanks for that, Kalpesh. I think that helps a lot. And the point that you mentioned, okay, about how the solution evolves from where it is right now, I think that is something that I would want to discuss. But I would want to hear from you, Amit, first on how do you see XDR changing things for you in your organization?
Yet to see, I would say, Gaurav, because if the expectation is that XDR is going to be completely replacing all our present point security solutions that we have implemented across different layers, including the endpoint, the networks, as well as the cloud, I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon, right? So we are going to be relying on these point solutions like EDR, NDR, as well as the SIEM technologies for quite some time, till the time we basically realize that there is a comprehensive feed as well as comprehensive analysis being performed by a solution like an XDR, right? And again, if the expectation is that we are going to be reducing the number of people who are there in Security Operations Center, because now we have built in more artificial intelligence as well as machine learning into XDR kind of a solution, again, that's not going to be happening anytime soon. We have to be seen and observed in due course of time. Thirdly, I would say that if we have been relying on some managed detection and response services, XDR still would require some kind of a human expertise, right? Someone has to be there to basically check if XDR is working as per the expectations. So that is where, if we can complement XDR with some other solutions that we have implemented at present, which includes EDR, NDR, SIEM, and maybe if at all replacing all of them with managed detection and response, I believe that XDR is going to be augmenting and will be complementing at the same time the solution related to monitoring that we are seeking from XDR, right? Again, it's a journey that we started this discussion with. Will take more time for us, all of us as security professionals, to realize the importance or the criticality of this specific function that has been brought in.
Sure. Thanks a lot for that, Amit. I think that also opens up an interesting subject that I'll come to, which is talking about what is it that we would want to see from the solution. Okay, while as Kalpesh mentioned, one is how is the solution evolving, but as security practitioners, based on the experience that we have on ground right now, what do we want to see in the solution? That's an interesting subject. But before we go to that, Kshitij, I would want to understand from you on what are the features that you see from whatever data points you have around XDR that are important for industrial controls. Okay, because you specialize in that area, we would want to hear on that. That is one. And the second thing that I would also want to know from you is what are the challenges that you see in automating XDR in the manufacturing setup? I think that was a point that Om also brought out. So I would want to understand your views on these 2 points, and then I would want to go back to Arvind to see how we can look at this particular space. Okay, so Kshitij, want to hear your views on this, please.
Thanks, Gaurav. I think Om already covered or pinpoint the same point, which I would like to highlight. So I think there is a different perspective when we talk about when we talk from the OT security point of view or manufacturing point of view. Why? Because for me, XDR is like a old wine in a new bottle. Why I said so is because on manufacturing setup, we're still using very obsolete system. We're still using very old data that is not yet modernized in the current context, right? So if we talk about we have local vendor, we have application that are not still digitally certified now, right? So when we talk about XDR and when we implement XDR for such scenario where we are moving from manual intervention to automation, digital factory, industrial revolution 4.0, and so on. So what happened in that case when we enabled XDR in such scenario, there are a lot of false positive because most of the application are not known to the system. Most of the application are not digitally certified. Most of the application developed in-house or maybe by the local vendor because this is a huge setup or instrument connected to the setup which are not being recognized by XDR telemetries or XDR different setup, right? So that is the one pain point area where we see a lot of false positive coming out as soon as you enable or as soon as you start moving on this part. Second thing I see from the what point Om mentioned, just to extend that point, when you enable automation for such pointer, let's suppose you detect any anomalies on manufacturing setup, you can't take immediate actions, right? Because there might be some batch running, there might be some process running, there might be some unit running on the system. And if you stop immediately everything, it will be a compliance issue from the quality perspective. So that's the other point. You have to wait till the process is complete and then you can take the action. And then you can disable or enable the services as per the requirement, right? So rather than focusing on the automation part, we focus more on the incident response part, like how to improve incident response. Because for manufacturing, we can't as of now we can't do automation at the full-fledged scenario. We still have a lot to evolve on the XDR part. Third main pointer where we see we are still not compliance, where we need to update all the information on cloud, because most of the applications are locally hosted or locally deployed because they are connected to instrument, they are connected to manufacturing unit and so on. Although, and we also have some smart sensor now, IoT comes into the picture and the smart devices comes into the picture, which do automation of the work. But when we talk about automation, that is the work part or the process part that has been done on the automation on the manufacturing setup, not on the IT or cybersecurity setup in that perspective. So we see there are still a lot of challenges, but rather than improving automated response from the XDR perspective, what we are doing, like we are focusing more on automated response from the incident response process, so that we know we can't evaluate on the XDR process at this moment till the time AI and MN will evolve and we have a lot of telemetry data to be used for local applications. So focus is being changed, but the focus at the end result will be the same, that we need to achieve the automated process to cater the need of XDR agents and the systems. So that's what we see, the more challenge and more perspective from the technical perspective. If I talk about business, we still need to evolve from the business perspective, because there's still a mindset that we are using an obsolete system and people have to be evolved on the business process, like to make them aware this is new technology and how do we can evolve on the technology, how we can make business more autonomous, independent of the IT, that everything will be automated. So two perspective that I see is more from is the challenge for the OT security from the XDR point of view.
Thanks a lot for that, Kshitij, and we'll want to probably dig deeper into this if time permits us. But Arvind, I would want to get a quick comment from you, okay, on how are you looking at XDR for critical infrastructure? Because I think that is really important, and there's a lot of maturity that is coming over there. So a quick comment on that, please.
Absolutely. So, and I think Kshitij has put it in the right way. It depends on the whole evolution from a business perspective, from the adoption of new technologies and new solutions, how open we are, and how quickly can we consume those new technologies into the OT setup. Right, that will probably answer how quickly we can adopt the XDR journey. Right, but we can still start. Right, we can still start somewhere. Now, there are a few things which, all of us can look at. That number one, where are we right now from a SecOps perspective, right? What part of SecOps is taking most of our time? Where are we getting most of the alerts from? Is it from endpoint? Is it from network? I understand that, in most of the OT environments, nobody wants to touch the field or the control sensors, right? Nobody wants to touch that. So we try to stay away from that, but there's still the operator layer or the maintenance layer where we can still put some kind of an EDR or an endpoint sensor and capture malicious behaviors. And we've seen that globally, there have been a lot of attacks which have happened at that layer. So probably we need to have that evolution internally from adopting new technologies and have a discussion around that. Second part of my answer would be AI ML is something that we have to accept. Now, what portion of AI and ML are we ready to absorb in an OT environment is the second question, right? Because if it's an on-prem setup, there is a percentage of difference of ML and AI capabilities on an on-prem and a cloud-based solutions. So which one are we open for? And then we can start from the journey, right? It is not about being number one in the XDR journey. It's about evolving our own security operations. So we need to think where we're starting from, where we are, what is consuming our security operations time, and then mature that with the contextual data from probably other sensors and have an AI ML engine either on-prem or SaaS, whichever we are open to.
Thanks, Arvind. I think the AI ML part is really interesting. I would want to touch a bit upon that too. But before that, I would want to take a step back. I would want to go to you, Devinder, and I mean, as the ITES sector, or as a general security practitioner, I would want to understand from you on what are the limitations that you see with XDR as a solution right now. Okay, because while we are saying that it is a journey, it is multiple things coming together, and I would want to get onto the thought process of how it is evolving and what are the kind of areas that we would want to, as security practitioners, see it evolve in. I would want to understand your views on what, according to you, are the limitations of the solutions right now, and what do you want to see in the solution?
That's interesting question. So yeah, when it comes to limitation, I won't say a limitation, but yeah, some of the things which I will expect, and you can call them maybe limitation as well. I would want to know how the XDR solutions interoperate with the existing investments which we've made. Now, you can call it limitation because for me it's a limitation, it's an additional investment. How much of the existing investment can be used as we adopt, as we move on this XDR journey? That's something I'll be looking for. And then there's a lot of overlap which can be seen with the SOAR. The teams which have, the companies which have mature SOAR platforms, you can see a lot of overlap with XDR. So we'll have to see how much of that overlap is real, and how much is the additional benefit which comes in if you have already invested in a SOAR platform. I think that's something which we will have to see. So I think these are a couple of things which I can think right now.
Sure, thanks for that, Devinder. I would want to probably spend some time on this again. Amit, I would want to come to you. I would want you to probably, for lack of words, want to do a critique of the solution. Okay, if I can put it that way. Okay, and then I would want Kalpesh, you also to do something similar, because I would want to understand, okay, what is it that we think are limitations of the solution right now.
See, yet to be seen. I mean, we are going through this. I mean, we are realizing, we discussed in the beginning of this discussion that what is XDR all about and what is that it is going to be replacing, right? So I cannot comment about the limitations as of now because we have not seen enough of it, right? We believe that yes, it's EDR++, we believe it's SIM++, but I can still comment about is that yes, it's definitely is going to be augmenting some of the point solutions that we have at present. I cannot talk about much of the limitations, but everything that is introduced new in this space basically is basically sold as something that is going to be replacing all our present security monitoring solutions. That's what I believe. It is not going to be the case so early in the phases. But yeah, yet to be seen more. I mean, we have to realize in due course of time, we'll realize some limitation and gaps that we have while utilizing the services of XDR.
Sure, thanks, Amit. I think let me get probably some additional input from you on the same subject. Okay, what I would want to let me rephrase it again. Not limitations of the solution, but what do you want? What do you expect from whatever you have seen?
See, the concept is great. Understand the concept is great. We have these security solutions that have been implemented on different layers, right? And we basically are at present not able to perform any kind of a good correlation. And the concept of XDR is that it is going to be federating all those security signals and is going to be performing a high level behavioral analysis using artificial intelligence and machine learning. So the concept is great. And then there is a concept of automated response, right? That if there is something that has been found which is inappropriate and malicious, and in that case, XDR will help you to perform automated responses against it. So the concept is basically great if it works as per the expectations that we have from it. Is what my expectation is as well. You're getting the point.
Sorry, I missed the unmute button. Okay, so thanks a lot for that, Amit. I think that is what these are the points that I wanted to get out of this conversation. So
because if it works exactly as it is basically telling that it is going to be doing, if we basically realize that happening actually is what the basic expectation is, right? Yeah.
So Kalpesh, some points from you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think Gaurav, I'll try to simplify it very simple, right? The challenges and the limitations I see with XDR today are simple. In a layman's language, you're telling me exactly all the ingredients that I need to make a delicious cake, right? And thank you so much for that. But I don't know how to make it, right? And we all know that having the ingredients to make it a great cake is not even half the battle won, right? So I think that's where it is, right? Whenever I hear a word AI and ML, I always interpret that abracadabra, right? And it is truly abracadabra because under the disguise of AI and ML, what the tool does, right? I'm sure only the person who developed the tool would know. Rest all, it's just a magic, right? We're all hoping that AI ML abracadabra, something will come out, nothing comes out of it. I say that with a lot of seriousness out here. It's not to really kind of demean the efforts. Tremendous efforts have gone in, but I believe that we spoke of journey, right? And we started on the right note. But if we really talk about it, what we've been talking about is all the destinations, right? I do believe as professionals, when we focus so much on the destination, right, you're losing the fact that destinations, are just an outcome of the steps you're going to take in the journey. And what are the steps are more about maturity models. And every organization would have to move up the ladder of maturity even before you see any visible, tangible benefits, right? Forget everything else, right? So when we talk about OT, right, today, how many of us, would agree on, on this call that, the logs, the every OT device collects a different kind of a log, right? Having them standardized itself is a first primary, and I would say, it's one of the basic steps that is required before you start correlation. Right? How many of your OT devices You could update the RAM. So how many of the devices are programmable today, right? There are a lot of those challenges, right? So as I said, AI ML, if you are not able to really put that in context, right, it will remain abracadabra, right? And CISOs like me, when they will be challenged and will be asked, what is this tool doing in your environment? We will not be able to, pull out a rabbit out of the hat, right? And that is the reason every tool that we're talking about, if it's a journey, your focus has to be on the milestones, it has to be on the maturity, it has to be to address the challenges that we're going to face as an industry. Unfortunately, everything is hyped up, that you deploy a tool and everything will be resolved in a day. It is not going to happen. So being realistic about the capabilities of the XDR itself, and I think and with the commitment that it's a journey, these are the milestones, this is a maturity model, and we would urge every organization to evaluate themselves and then decide what should be a journey for them, because no two organization can have same XDR journey. Everybody will be on a different curve. So I think getting that awareness itself would be half a battle wall. So again, going back, we know the ingredients for making a delicious cake, but everybody would have their own preferences, and we need to have then a model which works beautifully well for everybody of us.
Sure, I think that's a really nice analogy, Kalpesh. I'm going to borrow it from you and use it whenever possible. Okay. So Om, I'm going to put you in the spot of bother. Okay, but I would want to know, as Kalpesh put it, abracadabra. I would want to know from you, what is the role of AI ML in XDR? Okay, as a service provider, that is one. And the second thing is, I think most of us discussed about the requirement of correlating things, the importance of analysis, and what role the analysts play in the complete journey. So I would want to understand from you on these two things: the role of AI ML in XDR and the role of analytics, and how correlation is going to support everyone in this journey.
Thanks. And it's always interesting to have a discussion with Kalpesh in terms of how simplification of the problems, and then you have to really scratch your head and say, now what next I should be saying, but then to make life little bit simpler for all of us. See, as I mentioned that when we look at XDR, in a traditional SOC, we are only limiting the XDR discussion to cybersecurity related alerts. There are other alerts, insider threats, data exfiltration. There are privilege escalations, related alerts, because you are collecting the whole ecosystem in terms of creating and analyzing the kind of traffic which you build on to that part. As I mentioned, for us, an XDR helps to enrich the data and to decide what needs to be automated, and what certain actions are to be automated, what certain data points are required for me to guide or take decisions from the business owners to understand, that, and guide them that this is the decisions we are taking, this is the reference points why this decision has been taken and how we are executing it, etc. Now, as rightly said by Kalpesh, that every organization would have to undergo under their own XDR journey, and there are as a service provider, we add what you call a limited role to help leverage and provide informed data points for our different set of customers to fulfill and understand their IT landscape and their exposure much better as we analyze that part. So that is one of the most important things which goes into it. And XDR really helps is to, firstly, wherever automations are possible, to quickly kill certain kind of attacks so that you don't have in-depth exposure. Those are curtailed. Secondly, because those are a very high risk part, right from the endpoints and servers and the network layers, wherever the sensors are there, how do we operate and kill them? That is one part. Second piece also where it helps is create a structured workflow to operate on. most of our customers would have a certain leverage in terms of how workflow has to be carried on, how an analysis has to be carried on across different teams to execute that structure. And the third piece is also look at ability of the same team. So one thing I liked about Amit was when he mentioned, I am not reducing the manpower I require for my SOC. Obviously, you also are generating 30% more data year on year when you're, as your connectivity expands, as the landscape expands. So using the same team, you're enhancing their capability to create that kind of journey for them. So as we evolve, it's better for us to get onto this journey on that maturity level to a certain extent faster. And second piece is, as we carry on, as we understand our businesses better, we can then enhance the overlay on the XDR to create that layer of I would say workflow automation and response accordingly.
Thanks for that, Om. I think that's an interesting view. Kshitij, I would want to go to you. I would want to probably understand from you on what is it that you look at in the manufacturing sector. I mean, sorry, let me rephrase it. You mentioned that incident response is more critical for you, okay, than the automation part when we discussed this earlier. Okay, and I'm trying to link it with the AI ML story itself. Okay, so if incident response is a much more important factor for the manufacturing sector, how do you look at the managed XDR kind of story? Okay, there is that story also which is coming in. So is there any view that you have around that, wherein it is delivered as a service by a service provider to you? I would want to get your viewpoints on that. And once we are done with that, I would want to go back to Gaurav Batra and do a time check on where we are right now. So your views on managed XDR, wherein the solution is provided to you as a service by a service provider, and supporting you with the incident response framework that you're looking at.
So I think this is a very interesting question. So when I talk about more from the manufacturing perspective, we always have two perspectives to look into this. One is the setup that we have. Other part is the users who are managing it, right? So when I say users who are managing it, they are also using a laptop and desktop for their perspective to manage remotely this kind of system, right? And on the user system on the laptop, which are not connected to any instrument, yes, we do have automated response, automated SDR in place, where we can stop the system anytime, where we can exclude the system from the network anytime, because there is no impact on the governance, on the any compliance perspective that we have for manufacturing unit. And on the other side, we have manufacturing setup, where we can see the incident, but we can't do anything. So that's why incident response play a very critical role, where we raise the incident through automated process, but we can't act on it through the automated process, right? There is two perspectives. We can raise the incident through automated process that is integrated with the alert it triggers, right? But to respond to the process, we have to manually go and intervene into what happened, why it happened, can we restart the system, can we stop the system which is running some batch process or production. So there's a two aspect, but when we say we have a managed services or managed XDR solution, we do have managed XDR solution for non-critical system or critical system where we don't have the compliance and kind of a audit, audit issues or like that. But for the other part of the story, focus is more on the incident management. Other thing that we also see from different perspective is about the obsolescence management, right? And most of the system, when we have in that criteria, they are mainly XPs or 2008 server or now 2007, Windows 7, which is no more supported by Microsoft since last year. So we still have this obsolescence management for XDR processes that is known but not automated, right? So in this scenario, this is difficult to manage under the automated response, even through managed services. But yes, as Om mentioned and Amit mentioned, we are still thinking and evolving on SIM++ and detection capability kind of scenario where we see more data will come into the picture and more automated response that we'll have in the future.
Sure, thanks for that, Kshitij. So Gaurav, I would want to come back to you. I would want to do a quick time check of where we are.
Gaurav, we have 30 minutes in hand. So what I will do is maybe you can continue with the discussion. I will open the chat meanwhile. Okay. So let's I'll ask audience to start putting up their questions, and in 10-15 minutes we'll see how many questions are coming in, and then after that we can ask every one of you to sum this up and take it from there. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks a lot for that, Gaurav. Devinder, I would want to go back to you. There are two things that I would want to know from you. Okay, one is we have all spoken about silos. Okay, that is a word that we've used. Okay, and the ability to integrate various components. Okay, so I would want to understand or probably dig a bit deeper on what do we exactly mean by these silos. Okay, and what do we mean by integrating these various silos? That is one thing. And the second thing that I would want to know is what, according to you, are the common indicators of attack? Okay. The reason I would want to know this from you is then I would want to go to Arvind to see how can we look at XDR as a solution to help us over here.
Okay, thanks, Gaurav. Gaurav, when we talk about silos in our world, we're talking about the silos which either we've created or have come in due to the point tools which we have adopted in recent past, or whatever in this entire security journey which we have adopted. These silos could come because, just as an example, there is an EDR which looks at the endpoint, which typically can't look at the serverless infra, which is on cloud. So we've created silos. By that, we need another tool now to manage the security in our cloud. So there is EDR, and then there is a second tool which comes in. There are firewalls, and it has its own threat intelligence. There is a EDR, it has its own threat intelligence, and then we get the XDR, and then it has its own threat intelligence, and then SIM has its own. Nothing wrong, but yeah, there is a SIM which gets the event, and then Kshitij touched upon the OT side of it, which creates another silos, and Kshitij talked about the areas where, for example, he said, no, we can't even think of response in those areas. But even in the factory environment, there are devices which are not even using TCP/IP. While I don't have that challenge in my current job, but I can understand for the factories, if those devices don't even understand the TCP/IP, how do you bring that into the whatever tool technology you're using? So what you do, then you go and implement another point tool to be able to create visibility on that traffic. So we have created these silos, we have created these walls, or you can call it walls, or you can call it point tools, which in order to, in order to maintain our visibility, we ourselves have gone and created these silos or these walls across our network, across our estate. So that's what is silos. And as all of us heard, XDR to a great extent should be able to solve that problem. Yeah. Now, when it comes to you talked about the indicators of attack. Indicators of attack basically are the events or rather I would say indicator of attacks are the events which could reveal an active active attack which is going on. So it's more of an active attack, whereas in the same term, a similar word which comes in is the IOC. IOC is something which has happened somewhere else, and you use that to discover if something of that sort is happening in your own company. So to me, IOA is something which is happening. It's an active attack which you may want to see. There could be many indicators. I mean, I can't list them all, but yeah, some of them could be your internal hosts talking to the bad destinations. It's an indicator, again, that something may be wrong. Your continuous network scanning within your environment, or scanning coming from a host where you don't expect it, expect least multiple logins across different regions. So there could be many indicators of attack, but yeah, the main difference I would say will be it's something which is happening. It is real, and it is in the process.
Sure. I think, I mean, sorry to first of all put you in the spot of bother with that. Okay, but I think what you mentioned is important, that on these silos, it is something that we have created on our own. It is not that I mean, if we had the visibility on how things are going to pan out, we might have not created the silos in the first place itself. Okay, and as you rightly said, the indicators of attack could be different, and I think different industries, different verticals are going to see it in a different way. Okay, so Arvind, I would want to come to you. Okay, on these silos. Okay, I would want to get your views on that. How is it that the XDR journey, okay, can help us probably lessen the silos or look through the walls? Okay, that is one. Okay, and the second thing that I would want to know from you is, we have heard a lot about these terms around native XDR and hybrid XDR. Okay, so I just want to get some clarity on what it is. Okay, is it different? Is it the same thing? Okay, so these two things is what I would want to know from you. Thank you.
So basically, what you've done is, by naming native XDR and hybrid XDR, you've named the cakes that Kalpesh was talking about. So Kalpesh was talking about creating cakes, right? So these are the two cakes in the line of XDR. No, they're not red velvet. No, they're not black forest. They are the native XDR and the hybrid XDR, or the what they call as open XDR. Right? So those are the names of the cakes. So now, how do we create those cakes, right? And while answering your question, I will also try to address a couple of things. One is what Amit was talking about, and he mentioned 2 or 3 times, was what does it replace? The XDR, what does it replace? Right? I'll try to answer that also. And another thing that Devendra mentioned was about the skill set requirement, right? We don't really need to create more integrations and all that, the engineering efforts, right? So I'll try to answer that also in relation to native and open XDR, right? So native XDR is about a platform, right? So the word is platform. Now, if you have already invested in a series of solutions, although they might be silo, but a series of solution which has one common platform, then that could be a very big step for you to start your XDR journey, right? So what do I mean by that? That means that if you have a set of solutions, it could be endpoint, it could be network security, big cloud security, data protection, right? Whatever the solutions, email security, and so on. Whatever solutions you've got, if on the back end they have a common platform, your job is half done, right? So you have the ingredients for the cake, and your job is probably half done if you know what temperature you have to cook at, right? So that temperature is that platform, and that is where the AI and ML capability of that vendor would come in, right? So if you're lucky and you have those kind of sensors with you with a common platform, then is where the native XDR vendors come in. Native XDR vendors are basically those vendors which have their own sensors, and because they have so many sensors, they are already capturing the telemetry. Now you want an analytical outcome of it, an analytical output of it, and that is what the native XDR can bring in. So let me take an example. Supposedly you have say an EDR, a cloud security solution, and a web SaaS solution. I'm just taking 3 examples, right? Suppose you have these 3, it could be email, it could be many others. So I'm just taking 3 for quick example. You have these 3 solutions, and now there's an alert which comes from an endpoint, from an EDR solution saying, hey, there's a malicious behavior. Now, how quickly we can take the artifact of those behaviors and see, and what I mean by artifact could be the IP address related to it, the IOCs that we're talking about, which are related to that, right? Those IOCs, and see, hey, have we seen similar IOCs in the cloud security solution? Have we seen similar behavior or similar artifacts in the web SaaS that we're using, right? And now, because we have the same platform, which has a similar sensors sharing the telemetry, they could correlate and they can give you an outcome. Hey, yes, doing this activity on the endpoint, but guess what? Yesterday, there was data exfiltration happening on the cloud. and it was the same user. Guess what? That user was going to those malicious sites day before yesterday, and here the web SaaS alerts for that. That quickly comes, and then you can triage that alert. So that is the native XDR, having a platform in which multiple sensors can bring in the telemetry, and you can do the analytics. So that brings down your skill set requirement. You don't need any engineering effort, right? So that's the answer to what Devendra was talking about. Why? Because that's already built in via that vendor, right? So that is one part of the answer. The second, probably I'll answer via the open XDR. Now, the other side of the journey are when you have set of vendors who are SOAR based or SIM based vendors who are focusing on analytical part of the solution rather than sensors, right? So now when you're looking at the analytical part of the solutions and not the sensor, you need to integrate your sensors with that analytical platform. Now that is where we do not replace the existing investment, we complement the existing investment. The sensors are still the same sensors that you're using. Now those sensors are coming up and sharing that telemetry into an analytical engine. Yes, there might be some skill set requirement or a skill set development required from creating that analytical engine perspective, but then you are integrating your existing investment into an open XDR, right? So again, that doesn't replace, but that complements. We wish that the SOAR solutions that Gartner created an architecture for, and many other vendors also created an architecture for. We hope that could be the answer, but that is not really the answer. We've been using SIM solutions, we've been using SOAR solutions, and everybody says the amount of time taken to triage an alert is still very, very high. So the outcome that we should expect, whether we're taking the native XDR way or the open XDR ways, to bring down the time to triage an attack, bring down the time to investigate an attack. That's the outcome we should focus on. And again, I'm coming back to the word journey, right? So irrespective of which platform we take, take an open platform or a native platform. Journey starts from what is taking your most of the time in SecOps. Is it the endpoint alerts? Is it the network alerts, cloud alerts, or the threat intelligence? What is taking your most of the time, which you can correlate, which you can integrate quickly with either journeys and reduce your SecOps work, right? So I hope I was able to give all the answers via that.
Sure. I think that helps, Arvind. And I think that also, I think it broadens the conversation a bit more. It is not only about a particular solution. Okay. So Kalpesh and Amit, I would want to go to you guys one by one. Okay. I would want to take a overly simplified kind of a view. Okay. With the silos that we have, okay, with the integration challenges that we have, okay, and with the SecOps part that we have been discussing. Okay. Extremely oversimplified view on how do we simplify the complete process. Any views around that? Okay. A very laymanish kind of a view, if I can put it that way. Kalpesh, do you want to take a stab at that?
Sure, I can do that, Gaurav. I think again, if you really ask me, how do I simplify, right? I don't know, but I think my take on this is very simple. I think Arvind did mention that very clearly. There are some places where it's going to replace your tools, right? And you know exactly that you build a sensor, it's going to do a lot of analysis. It will throw a lot of data, which is of a lot of value for you. You're going to go about you'll reap the benefits of it earlier on, right? That's a piece where a tool does a lot of your work. Right? So from a simplification perspective, it would again be an approach where you decide your strategy for an organization to see how do you really want to get a value out of your investments. Obviously, if you talk about the open, basically the open thing, right? People are going to take time because correlation of the SIM, and again, it doesn't replace the SIM, it complements the SIM. So when I talk about that as a model, an open XDR, right? Or how is it going to really enhance your environment in totality? That would really take a time, and I think that would only be possible once you're able to see the benefits of XDR in your environment. So to simplify it, go for the low-hanging fruits first, and there is enough and more that XDR can simplify, because we have to realize one thing is the way. I think Devendra did mention that there is a scarcity of security resources, which means the way the data is increasing, we're not going to have as many people to manage security. Also, security would always be a cost to provide your services or tool. So we can't keep on increasing that exponentially high, right? So that's where even today XDR will play a very important role. Low-hanging fruits is where it does a sensory role, where it has its own ecosystem, where it can do a lot of value addition for you. Target that, come to a level of maturity. When you do that, it will definitely it eliminates a bit of silos. So if you have a UEBA, right, it will eliminate that, right? So start looking on those areas where it's possible. And I do believe journey, because you have to work very closely with your partner to reap the benefits, right? And you need to have the right partner who then be able to help you kind of get the value for your investments, right? Because tools are never about unboxing them and deploying them. It's more about, the journey actually starts after that, in terms of after you unbox, after you deploy that, how do you fine tune so that your network gets benefit of that. So I think that is going to be critical for it. And that's my approach. And then move towards the open XDR to actually then, take the advantage to an organization level, and when you talk about open XDR, it will be a lot of involvement, because a regulatory mindset, their willingness and everything plays a dominant role. I think that's a journey, and we'll take it as it goes.
Sure, thanks a lot for that, Kalpesh. Amit, I would want to understand what your views are around simplifying things.
See, the concept of XDR is basically to simplify things as it is, right? So the expectation is that, yes, it's going to be coming and simplifying things for us, because what does it do? In the case of, let's say, SOAR, right, or a SIEM technology, we have to put in the use cases, we have to define some kind of an automated response, right? And we have to define alerts. What is that XDR going to be simplifying in that case? It's going to be bringing that from the vendor side itself, right? So if we have some kind of a native XDR technology coming in, then in that case, everything that I talked about, like creation of these alerts, use cases, that will be automated, right? We get it directly from the vendor. I mean, obviously on the background, we'll have some kind of an artificial intelligence drawing those conclusions, right? And then alerting to the security operations center that such and such incident has happened. So the simplification, Gaurav, in my opinion, is actually inbuilt into the XDR solution. How far it will actually be successful is something that we all are waiting to see.
Sure, I think thanks a lot for that. I think you rightly put it. Okay, when we are trying to simplify things, the solution and the journey itself is a major part of the simplification.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. Gaurav, I would want to just check with you. Do we want to take some questions from the audience, or do we want to do a round of closing remarks from all the panelists?
Yeah, sure, Gaurav. So before we close, I'm asking people to send the questions. So I have got two questions on my side. So personally to me, so they are asking how to go that if XDR is the best fit for my organization. How I will evaluate that what level of implementation I need, and secondly, there are many options available in the market. How I will evaluate the most affordable and cost-effective solution for my need. I don't know if, who can be the right person to answer these two questions. And after that, guys, if you have any more questions, please put in there. And yeah, after these two questions, Gaurav, maybe you can take for the closing remarks. Yeah. So best fit for your organization and cost effectiveness. How to look out for that?
Should I probably start with the answer and then probably everybody can add on?
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
So is it XDR how's the right fit? Depends on where we are today on your SecOps, right? So from your SecOps perspective, do we have a central team which is managing it, managing the whole security operation, has already created some correlation rules, have already done some radical work or not? Have you done that investment, right? That is one part of it. Or we've not done anything, right? We've not done anything. We don't have a team. We need all the help that we can get, right? Depends on where we are on the maturity curve. That is where we start with the XDR. And the answer to which journey you should start with, whether it should be native XDR or open XDR, depends on that answer. The answer to the first question, where you are today from a SecOps perspective. If you've not done any major investment and you're open to XDR journey, then my suggestion would be going ahead with the native XDR vendors. Why? Because those vendors require very less skill set because they are doing the whole analytic the part on the cloud, and they're also giving you sensors at the end to take remediation action. So that could be one journey. But the other journey would be where you've already done a lot of investment and now you are looking at XDR. Then is where you look at open XDR vendors, where you integrate your existing solutions, do an analytical engine, and then take an output fit. So that's my answer to whether XDR is relevant to them or not. On the cost perspective, you need to have a data lake, right? You need to have a data lake where all the sensors are sending their telemetry data. That's the first thing. Now again, if you have a native vendor, they already have the telemetry data. You don't need to spend again on storing that telemetry data, right? You're already paying it to them. Again, the benefit of having a native XDR is you save money on creating your own data lake, and you just get this analytical output. Whereas when it's an open XDR solution, you have to create a data lake, you have to maintain it, and hence there is an additional cost. So those are my 2 cents, probably, and everybody else can probably add on to it.
Just wanted to add one more thing, that just also look into the size of your organization, right? That if you are relatively smaller and you have not done sufficient investment into bringing up a security operations center, and you do not have a lot of security monitoring already getting done, maybe looking into something like SDR can be useful. But if you're a very large organization, then in that case, you'll have a lot of investment already done into a lot of security solutions that you have implemented in all layers. So that is where you can, that is where you have to perform more analysis and evaluation related to what kind of an approach that you want to take, as Arvind was mentioning, related to XDR deployment. My 2 cents.
Sure, fair enough. So I think Mahesh has a few questions here. SOAR versus XDR. How can we show global benchmark for adopting? Okay, and also XDR use case and case study. Companies adopted. What are the benefits in terms of technologies? Maybe Arvind, you can share some of your case studies or customer feedback. How it was when they adopted. So what kind of changes they have seen or how it's helping. And I don't know if SOAR versus XDR. Anyone want to take call on that as well?
Yeah. On the adoption of XDR, probably if I can answer, and then I'll leave it to the other members. On the use cases are predominantly towards reducing mean time to investigate, mean time to remediate. Those are the pain points that we hear from our customers, that we're not able to triage the alert. We really do not know which alert to prioritize, right? That's the main pain point that we keep on hearing, and that's probably the first use case. Which integration? If you like from a sensors perspective, which sensor should we integrate to bring down that workload, right? It could be your EDR plus say threat intelligence. It could be EDR say with cloud, depending on where your workload is, where your critical data is, right? Looking at that part so that you can bring down your mean time to investigate, your time to triage and alert. That's the first use case that you should look at. And the second I would say is always look for a platform-based solution. Why? Because today you might have 5 or 6 use cases in your mind and you might evaluate a solution based on that. But if that platform is not open, if that platform doesn't share its own analytical output over say APIs and so on, then you would have a problem. So why? Because if probably your organization today is not cloud friendly, and after 2 years you become cloud friendly, and then the whole XDR investment that you've done will not be relevant. So if you're looking at an XDR solution, look at a solution which is a platform based, which is an open platform, so that in future you have new use cases, you can create that using the same investment.
Sure. Om, you were about to add something like on SOAR. Yeah, please go.
Yeah. So also, where SOAR would make more sense is, the complexity of your organization. In terms of you would have multiple teams, multiple compliances to take care, and the number of user base, what you have within your organization is spread out. You would also have multiple third-party vendors supporting into you. Here, where a SOAR would work in to create a structured workflow for what categories of incident, how do you manage, etc. And SOAR typically supports you on holistically looking into the operational processes and objectives of security operations plus information security operations. So cyber security plus information security workflows also you can combine into it and take a structured response on that side. And XDR is more gained, as you know, beyond what Arvind has added, is where the immediate priority is to cut down cybersecurity risk. And in your case, if you have not invested into any security analytics platform, and XDR will make more sense for you to invest and grow. Also, if you're looking for an upgrade or moving out from a legacy security analytics platform, and you don't have too much compliance dependencies, XDR will give you immediate value because the transformation is quick and you get value a lot faster than you would have to invest in a traditional analytics platform.
Okay, great input, Rom. So I think we are on time, but I just see one more question which Hannah has put in. Let me just put that. So does XDR being the evolution of EDR means that EDR no longer matters? I don't think that's a right statement, but any of the panelists can take this up.
My quick 20-second answer is no. EDR or all the solutions that we talk about, data protection, cloud security, and so on, they are the sensors. They are the one who's sharing telemetry data. XDR is a capability that we are adding onto that sensors. We need EDR, we need cloud security, we need network security. XDR has the capability to go beyond its own intelligence and get the contextual information from others.
Just to add on to that, EDR will have no visibility beyond the endpoint. And if you want to have a better correlation performed on the network as well as any workload that you're running on the cloud, you will need XDR related capabilities to perform better correlation on.
Sounds good. Maybe quickly, I would like to announce, guys, the feedback form is there in the chat, and you please fill that up, and we will be spinning it. My team will be spinning it for the Wheel of Fortune, the Alexa, which McAfee and Inspira team is giving away for today's session to all the participants. So Gaurav, over to you for the concluding remarks, and from all the panelists. Yeah, we can quickly do that 1 minute or 30 seconds each. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So let us go frame by frame. Arvind, quick remarks from you, closing ones.
A few quick things. Number one, XDR is something that we need so that our various investments that we've done can share contextual data, can help us improve our security operation. I think that's where we should look at XDR from a solution perspective. And I've said it probably 20 times in the call today that it's a journey where we need to find out where this journey starts for us, where we are today from a SecOps maturity perspective. That's where we start from, and then look at the immediate low-hanging fruits from an outcome perspective by integrating our existing investments.
Devinder, closing remarks from your side.
Yeah, so I think from my side, yes, XDR certainly makes sense, but look at your current investments and then plan your journey ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a nice one. Kalpesh, closing remarks from your side.
Kalpesh, you are on mute. Yeah.
I think we've got some network issues. Kshitij, any closing remarks from your side?
Not as such, but like all mentioned, it was very informative session, and I learned a lot more about it, about the solution. And like Devinder mentioned, think about where you are and where you want to be, and plan your journey accordingly for SDR, because it will be the future. With the AI and ML will come into the place.
Sure. Kalpesh, are you back? Any closing remarks from your side?
Yeah, sorry, Gaurav, I had a glitch. So I think, our fellow panelists have covered it all well, right? So I think, yes, XDR is a way forward, because if you're talking about reducing the fatigue for your SOC teams, or you want to really automate, as you get more and more devices connected to your network, as you open up your businesses for more and more of digital, we're talking towards a digital economy, right? You are going to need that extended help right? And that is something that every organization will have to start a journey sooner or later. So from that perspective, absolutely convinced that they have to start the journey, and sooner the better for that. But as I said, it's a journey. You have to be very pragmatic. You have to be very practical, so that you have a layered approach. So you achieve your milestones, then enhance it better, achieve the milestones, and keep on doing that journey, so that you don't set unwanted expectations with the stakeholders. They are realistic in terms of what you're going to achieve out of it.
Thanks for that, Amit.
No, just thanks for having me. It's a great discussion, and it's just that we have to know about all these new introductions in the technology space that we get, and we have to understand them better and have a good understanding of what our network is all about, and work closely with your partner to understand what the services are being offered by some innovative solutions like XDR.
Thanks, Amit. I forgot to call you out, Om. Final concluding remarks from your side.
Thanks. I would firstly thank all my co-panelists for sharing such wonderful contributions. Kalpesh, Devendra, Amit, Kshitij, it's wonderful interacting with you. My learnings from this session would be three in terms of anybody taking a decision to deploy XDR and is looking to migrate from the existing security analytics platform. This would be the right time, because technologies have evolved and grown on that side. And if there are things where there is still a gap, how XDR would add value, we would be happy to connect later on to share some of our insights on the same. So thanks a lot.
I think that this has been an amazing session, guys. I love the overall conversation. Can we have a quick photograph? So I think Amit is missing in the frame, and every